Hypnotist John Way is here with a serious question that you can either respond to verbally or mentally. How many hours of sleep do you get a night? Approximately. Got a number? What was it? So, whether you responded out loud or in your mind, you just confirmed that you could be hypnotized. And this is a really cool trick test, especially for people who don't understand what hypnosis is, which is a lot of people, or people who say they can't be hypnotized, because as all my students know, especially my advanced ones that have encountered these types of hecklers and antagonists, all hypnosis is a state of mental and physical relaxation, which is exactly what you achieve while you're going to sleep. After all, the first step to hypnosis is the induction, having them close their eyes and relax and breathe, and that's exactly what you do when you're getting ready to go to sleep anyway. That's how we go to sleep. The second step is the deepener, taking them from that state of mental and physical relaxation and deepening it, making it more comfortable so they can go to the delta, sleep state, or that's exactly at least how you go to sleep. But that's also the second step to hypnosis, how to make them more relaxed. So as you can see, they're the exact same process. So no matter what number anyone gives you, it's a nice little trick test to prove that they can be hypnotized, and that technically speaking, we do self-hypnosis every single night because we all need sleep. So people who are like, oh, I don't sleep, they're full of crap.
Now, while that has become my favorite go-to question for most of the weary and skeptical individuals I meet, I've still encountered people who refuse to accept this trick question as a form of proof that they have been hypnotized. I've also learned that if I'm being grilled for additional evidence regarding whether or not the person I'm talking to at the time has or hasn't been hypnotized before, that other hypnotists are as well. In those scenarios, especially when speaking to older teens or adults, I'll ask if they've ever driven somewhere and arrived at their destination without fully really remembering any specific details about their drive there. Maybe they simply went through the motions and next thing they knew, they were where they wanted to be. Or maybe they were on a highway or toll road and accidentally missed their turn due to not being fully focused. Because if so, those are all examples of a term known as highway hypnosis. This is an everyday example that most people can relate to as they drive to school or work. This is because, much like a hypnotist will have someone hyper-focus in on their voice, words, and tone while helping them tune out all background noise, highway hypnosis occurs when you're daydreaming or hyper-focused in on a specific thought. This hyper-focus takes your conscious attention away from driving. To help ensure that you make it to your destination safely, however, your subconscious will take over and make sure that you turn your turn signal on, switch lanes, speed up, slow down, and avoid accidents. This is especially common when certain driving routes that you take often become second nature to you. This form of muscle memory may make the drive itself feel mundane, causing your conscious mind to drift and your subconscious to take over to make sure that you arrive at your destination safe and unharmed. Even if you don't fully relate to that specific example because you're either too young or you simply don't drive for any number of reasons, you can likely remember a moment in your childhood when your imagination either made the toys you were playing with or the environment you were in fun, engaging, and magical. Just like comedy stage hypnosis, your childlike sense of imagination created a mental escape for you to enjoy yourself in a world where you had little to no responsibilities or repercussions. A child tapping into their creative mind is a child's way of actually executing self-hypnosis. They get to live and play in their own little world that feels real to them, just like how truly hypnotized stage volunteers will react to commands they've been given by a hypnotist. It's because the hypnotist has fully mentally and physically relaxed them to the point of lowering their inhibitions, helping them to tap into their childlike sense of imagination, and giving them a command within a scenario for them to react to as their temporary reality. To a degree, this is also what some hypnotherapists do. The difference being that a hypnotherapist may do a few suggestibility routines simply to test how naturally in tune their clients are with their imaginations. Reason being is that this helps them better understand how quickly and easily and efficiently each client is hypnotized and can be helped in achieving whatever personal and professional goals they came to the therapist for. Regardless if you're looking into hypnosis for comedy or therapy or general knowledge, the real question is whether or not the process is proven effective and if there's any merit to hypnosis to begin with. Science says there is. In fact, back in 2016, Stanford Medicine conducted a study that actually showcased the neural changes that occur in someone's brain when they're genuinely hypnotized. Scientists of the School of Medicine scanned dozens of brains of those who underwent the same process of guided hypnosis as those who use it for clinical treatments. As the article reported, Dr. Spiegel and his colleagues discovered 3 hallmarks of the brain under hypnosis. The article went on, saying that the first discovery was a decrease in activity in the brain's dorsal anterior cingulate. Spiegel went on record saying, quote, "In hypnosis, you're so absorbed that you're not worrying about anything else," end quote. This explains why those who experience highway hypnosis because they're daydreaming while driving may not remember their full drive. The article continued, stating that the second discovery was an increase in the brain's dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the insula, which creates the brain-body connection which our brains use to process and control what's happening in our bodies. The last discovery was reported as reduced connections between the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the medial prefrontal and posterior cingulate cortex, which is where the disconnect between someone's actions and their awareness of their actions stem from. In layman's terms, Spiegel said, quote, "When you're really engaged in something, you don't really think about doing it, you just do it," end quote. This disassociation scientifically proves that those who are genuinely and deeply entranced by stage hypnotists are, to some extent, fully engrossed in the world created by the hypnotist, and why volunteers who make it through the elimination process react so emotionally and dramatically without second thought or fear, or as the article states, without devoting mental resources to being self-conscious about the activity. Granted, the article focuses more on comparing the results of this study to clinical benefits than the validity of stage hypnosis, but I'd argue it indirectly covers both bases. Still, the clinical side can't be ignored considering how popular hypnotherapy has become and how many lives have positively changed as a result of it in the past 12 years. In fact, years ago I came across a chart that supposedly claimed that hypnotherapy had a much higher statistical recovery rate in the least amount of sessions compared to other forms of therapy, namely psychoanalysis and behavior therapy. I say supposedly because, based on a forum I found through researching this chart, its validity was questioned in terms of when the chart was released compared to when the magazine shut down, and from what the statistical recoveries reported were actually from. Questionable study charts aside though, some due diligence via Google will quickly provide you with a slew of more recent case studies and reports in which hypnosis was successfully used to help people achieve their goals. For example, there are many reports discussing how gold medal Olympians enlisted the help of hypnotherapists to help them mentally condition, project their winning, and eventually succeed. Hypnotist Chris Jones from America's Got Talent even did a recent interview with Adam Carolla where he talked about how some of the top athletes worked with hypnotherapists to help them achieve specific milestones.
The only person who, I think Ali lost 4 fights, one of them was because that guy had a hypnotist. And the Mike Tyson saw a hypnotist at the age of 13. Custy Amato was his coach, his father figure, and he said, "Come, we're going to see a hypnotist." And he focused on nothingness, complete darkness, punches and punches and punches, yes. And he instilled in him this warrior, I want to kill everything in the room that's moving.
Another example those in the fitness industry are likely aware of is of the world record 500 kilogram deadlift accomplished by UK strongman Eddie Hall back in 2016. He covers his journey in his YouTube documentary and mentions his decision to hire a personal hypnotherapist to help him manually trigger a psychological state that an article by Steemit.com states some referred to as hysterical strength. What I liked most about their coverage of Eddie's story is that they cover a list of historical moments where the life or death scenario that momentarily enables people to use 100% of their muscle fibers was documented in various dangerous situations. As covered in Eddie's YouTube documentary, this was the exact mindset that he worked with his hypnotherapist to recreate when the deadlift moment came. Pun intended when I saw that he successfully and impressively pulled it off. I've made sure to link all the sources I used to create this free lesson for you down in the description alongside additional sources that you yourself might find useful. I only ask that you keep in mind that, as with many things in life, there is an exception with the science and psychology presented in this lesson. That being that just because hypnosis works on some individuals in certain circumstances doesn't automatically mean it'll work the same for everyone every time in those same circumstances. This is why it's not uncommon for people to believe that they can't be hypnotized. In fact, many report that videos or audios on the internet have little to no effect on them, but the truth is, those materials are pre-recorded for a general audience, so it's actually statistically impossible for them to be tailored to and work for every listener. Additionally, if you or someone you know have ever walked back into the audience after feeling like a hypnotist failed to hypnotize you for a stage show, you may be right. Asking or challenging any random hypnotist to hypnotize you and claiming it doesn't work if you don't feel any different after one session with them is like claiming that there's no one in the dating pool fit for you because you had one bad relationship with someone that you clearly weren't a match for to begin with. So yes, you can be hypnotized. Yes, it's been proven again and again by science. And yes, there is likely a hypnotist out there that will work for you. Ultimately, you just have to do your own due diligence and research hypnotists or hypnotherapists that offer, if not specialize in, the type of experience you're looking to gain from a session with them. Don't hesitate to reach out and just ask if they're able and willing to work with you. Also, because it's a tailored experience, know that there will likely be an investment on your end, just as the top athletes paid their hypnotists to help them achieve their goals. Easiest way to do this is to just Google your city name plus the word hypnotist. For safety purposes, though, you should always consult your personal physician and/or psychiatrist if you want to try hypnosis but struggle with any form of psychological challenge. These challenges can cause adverse reactions to your hypnotic experiences, and it's always better to be safe than sorry. I hope you gained a golden nugget or two from this lesson, and whether you're a hobby hypnotist or an aspiring professional, HypnoKick provides free, affordable, and professional training to those looking to kickstart their hypnosis journey. Regardless of your choice, HypnoKick is here to help.